I started with a quiet life. Too quiet. My days blended into each other. A routine of familiar moments and silent nights. My husband and I had long settled into comfort, but along the way, we'd lost the spark that once made us us. I told myself it was normal, just part of growing older together. Our son Ethan had just turned 21. His world filled with energy and celebration. The house often burst with laughter and the noise of his friends. In that chaos, I found reassurance. He was happy, surrounded by people who cared. One of those friends was Ryan. He stood out, not loud or boisterous, but calm and magnetic. With his easy smile and quiet confidence, Ryan had a presence that was impossible to ignore. It was a Saturday afternoon when everything shifted. As I prepared snacks in the kitchen, Ryan appeared, shirtless, dripping from the pool. "Need any help, Mrs. Carter?" he asked, his voice warm and gentle. I kept my focus on the platter. "No, thank you, Ryan. Go enjoy yourself." But he didn't leave. He stayed, his eyes steady on me. "You do so much for everyone. You deserve a break too." Those words stayed with me. They saw me, not just as Ethan's mom or a wife, but as a person. And from that day on, I kept noticing him, the way his laughter filled the house, the way his gaze found mine. The tension between us grew, subtle, unspoken, but undeniable. I tried to convince myself it was harmless, but deep inside, I knew it wasn't. It was a reminder of the woman I used to be, the one who craved more than routine. One evening, when the house fell into rare stillness, Ryan and I were alone. "You've spent so long taking care of others," he said softly. "Don't you ever wonder what it would be like to live for yourself?" Even for a little while, his words cracked something open. I remembered dreams I'd buried, passions I'd let go of, and in his eyes, I saw someone who recognized the part of me I'd forgotten. That night, we talked, honestly, openly, and in those quiet moments, I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. In the days that followed, I walked a delicate line between love for my family and the desire to rediscover myself. It wasn't easy. There was guilt and doubt, but there was also hope. Hope that even in the most familiar life, there's room for unexpected beginnings, and a spark waiting to catch fire. The first spark came from a place I never expected. My life had been a pattern of quiet days and predictable nights, a marriage built on familiarity rather than passion. But everything changed with a single kiss. It started with Ryan, my son Ethan's friend. There was something about him, a quiet, confidence, an undeniable presence. At 24, he carried himself with ease, and when he looked at me, I felt seen in a way I hadn't for years. One afternoon, as I busied myself in the kitchen, he appeared, shirtless, smiling, and completely unaware of the effect he had on me. "Need any help, Mrs. Carter?" His voice was warm, his eyes steady. I forced a polite smile. "No, thank you. Go enjoy yourself." But he didn't leave. "You always take care of everyone," he said softly. "You deserve someone to take care of you." Those words stayed with me, stirring something I thought long buried. And when, one quiet evening, Ethan went out and left the house still, that spark ignited. We talked, really talked, about dreams forgotten and lives half-lived. And then his hand brushed mine, and suddenly the space between us vanished. His kiss was soft at first, then urgent, and for the first time in years, I felt truly alive. But reality crashed in the moment the front door opened. Ethan's voice called out, and Ryan stepped back, his face unreadable. The spell was broken. That night, lying next to my husband's steady, oblivious breathing, I replayed the kiss over and over. Guilt battled with longing, but the memory of Ryan's touch was impossible to shake. Days passed in a haze of stolen glances and unspoken words. And then he showed up again, this time at my door, tools in hand. "Ethan said you needed help. With the cabinet," he said casually, though his eyes held something deeper. In the small laundry room, the air between us was electric. "About the other night," he began, his voice low. "It was a mistake," I interrupted. Though the words felt like a lie, he stepped closer, and my back met the wall. "Was it?" he whispered. "Because I can't stop thinking about you. About that kiss." My heart pounded, torn between the life I knew and the passion I'd rediscovered. And in that moment, I realized my carefully built world was balancing on the edge of something dangerous and something irresistible. In that instant, I fought the urge to deny it, to step away and reclaim my composure. But the truth was undeniable. I couldn't stop thinking about him either. My defenses crumbled as his hand gently brushed my cheek. "You deserve more than this life," he whispered, his voice thick with sincerity. "You deserve to feel wanted, to feel alive." And just like that, the walls I had built around my heart began to collapse. He closed the distance between us, and when our lips met, it was no longer hesitant or uncertain. It was urgent and consuming. Every rational thought vanished, replaced by a wildfire of passion I hadn't felt in years. His touch awakened something in me. Not just the role of a wife or a mother, but the woman I had long forgotten. We stumbled into the laundry room, our reckless intensity a stark contrast to the ordinary surroundings. In that fleeting moment, nothing else existed. Not my marriage, not my responsibilities. Only the fierce need ignited between us. When the haze of passion finally faded, silence fell heavy and suffocating. I couldn't meet his gaze as the weight of what we'd done settled over me. "This can't happen again," I whispered, the words trembling on my lips. But even as I spoke them, a part of me knew it was a lie. A desperate attempt to reclaim control over a life that suddenly felt completely unmoored. In the days that followed, I was left grappling with emotions I could barely contain. Every touch, every lingering look, replayed in my mind with an intensity that both thrilled and terrified me. At night, as my husband's steady breathing filled the silence, my mind was consumed by thoughts of Ryan. His kiss, his touch, the way he made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in years. I questioned everything. The life I had built, the roles I played, the quiet, predictable existence I had long accepted, and with each passing day, the memory of that forbidden passion threatened to change me forever. Standing at the edge of my old life and the dangerous allure of the unknown, I knew one thing with certainty. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Thank you so much. Your support and feedback mean the world. I truly appreciate your time and effort. It helps me grow and improve every step of the way.